Hi folks, it's been a long time since I've done a video blog, but a friend of mine called Angie keeps getting on to me to do one, so here we are, I'm doing one. So thanks Angie, love to you and your mum. On your say so, I'm doing a video blog. Okay. You know folks, I think we would all agree that this whole world is becoming a very unsafe place to live in. Now our government has decided to bomb this so-called group ISIS in Syria. Of course we've been bombing them in Iraq for some time, but now we're joining our allies to bomb them in Syria. I've been listening to some so-called experts on the TV, on the news, who say it's a waste of time bombing unless we put boots on the ground as well. I don't know, but whatever the truth of the matter is, I personally have no faith whatsoever in anything that our government decides to do anymore. You see, the reason for this is that I'm a Bible believing Christian, and I have been for over 50 years, which is half a century as far as I can make out. And the longer I have followed the Lord, the more convinced I am that His word is perfect, true, and should be obeyed. God has been the safety of this country for centuries now, but unfortunately our government have decided to push God's word and God Himself not only into the background but into oblivion. I'm talking about the Christian God, of course. They've disregarded God's word in their unbelief and shown a lot of disrespect to it also. In the book of Romans chapter 1 verses 21 to 22 it says this: "For although they knew God, they neither glorified Him as God nor gave thanks to Him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools." I heard an interesting sermon recently. Someone translated this word fools into morons. Now, I don't wish to be disrespectful to our government, but I have no time for anyone who opposes God and His teachings. That is moronic. Certainly is. And I don't think that such people will have any success in anything they do. As I've said, God has been the protection of our country for centuries, and if we get rid of Him, we get rid of our protection. In our history, we've had some great political leaders and great military leaders also. But their greatness was due to their faith in God and in His word. But alas, such men have gone and have been replaced by others that don't have faith in the Lord. And you know, if you look since the Second World War, which was a tremendous success against the Nazis, but since that war, our country has had little or no success in any of its military dealings. In fact, we've created more problems than we've solved. Why is this? Well, it's because we don't have godly men leading us anymore, making godly judgments. Personally, I think we're in the time of the labour pains which Jesus spoke about in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 8. It's my opinion that sometime soon the snatching away of the church will occur. Some people call it the rapture. And sometime after that the tribulation will begin, and I think that this can't be too far away, judging by the sign of the times. You know, one of the things that upset Jesus was that the Pharisees didn't understand, they couldn't read the sign of the times. I'm pretty sure he must feel the same way about many Christian leaders of today. The signs are all around us, but few preachers speak about them. It's a subject that just isn't talked about in church anymore. You know, I was converted 11 years after the Jews returned to Israel in 1948. Just 11 years after that I became a Christian. And as I remember those days, most churches were buzzing with the teachings about the Lord's return. Almost every sermon mentioned it. Almost every Christian you bumped into in the street would talk about the coming of the Lord. But now, 50 odd years later, All we get in church is a kind of a social gospel. Nobody talks about the return of the Lord. And there's a great emphasis, of course, on rock and roll type of worship. Well, as a musician myself, I'm not opposed to good music and good songs in the church. But come on, folks, look at all the signs around us. Why don't they get talked about anymore? You know, in a short while, we'll be celebrating Christmas. One of my favourite passages in the Bible is from Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6, which says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given," and listen to this part, "and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." You know, we need to remember that the message of the gospel doesn't simply end at the cross, nor does it end at the ascension of Jesus back into heaven, but it ends with the government shall be upon his shoulder. He, Jesus, will be our leader and king over all the earth. There'll be no more crooked politicians. That's the one thing I like about no more crooked politicians. No more extremist groups threatening the peace and safety of the world. He will be the Prince of Peace. You know, folks, that thrills my heart, and I hope it thrills yours too. In an article on this website, someone said, I printed it out and put it on the website, that the only person who can solve our problems is the Pope. And I just put an editorial comment after that saying, my money's on Jesus solving the problems, not the Pope. Okay, so things are looking black right now. Many people are probably frightened, worried. I am for my grandchildren, not for myself personally, but for my grandchildren. I'm really concerned about the state of the world. But I take rest in the fact that Jesus said it would be like this in Luke 21 verse 28. And he said, "When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because," listen to this, "your redemption is drawing near." Isn't that wonderful? So take heart, folks. If you're a Christian, don't be frightened by the world events, the bad things that are happening all around us. Have faith in our real leader, our real politician, our King, Jesus Christ. God bless you all. Hope you've enjoyed this little blog. Bye for now.